Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do our March 18th Spiritual Principle a Day in a meditation. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. How are you doing today? Doing a clean check. I hope you're doing well. The title of the meditation is Thoughtful Awareness, Thoughtful Action. We become increasingly aware of our choices, our motives, and our behavior. We recognize the difference between thinking through to a decision and reacting or acting on impulse. That comes from our Living Clean book, Chapter 5, Conscious Contact. Pre-NA, many of us flew by the seat of our pants when it came to making choices. Being self-aware and thoughtful of others was as low on the priority list as our impulses would allow. Now we have a chance to be more aware and thoughtful about our decision making and its effects on relationships. To act thoughtfully, it's a good idea to assess where our thoughts are coming from. And in recovery, we have many assessment tools at our disposal. Are we impulsively heeding our first thought, or a more measured second or third or fourth thought that has been supported by taking a moment to breathe? Are we listening to our conscience or our disease? Are we acting out of love or out of fear, for the benefit of our ego or for the benefit of others? For many of us, the metaphorical cliche of hitting the pause button works wonders and can certainly reduce the chances of pressing the other button, the one that blows things up. Thoughtfulness goes beyond simple awareness. We consider the reality of a situation and who it's affecting besides ourselves. And then we act on the awareness we've gained, especially when we're feeling intolerant or indifferent. Luckily, we also have our sponsor, other NA members, and our higher power to consult so that we can determine our motives and discern between rational and irrational actions. We can help each other widen our perspectives and keep us more on a path of kindness, compassion, and goodwill. The more deliberate we can be in the moment, the more thoughtful our actions can be. We can't premeditate outcomes, nor can we completely avoid others being angered or disappointed by us. But at least we can live better with the decisions we make because we know we did our best to be thoughtful. I will use all tools at my disposal to try to behave in a thoughtful manner. When that seems impossible, I can resist the urge to act and wait until the emotional storm passes. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you, God. Grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Such a powerful meditation talking about thoughtful awareness and thoughtful action. And quite honestly, I'm sitting here reading this and I'm thinking to myself, this would have been really good for that living the program IP. That middle paragraph would have been really good. And I'm sure it has some wonderful questions in it, but just from where I'm at today, I think that this meditation is helpful. It causes me to wonder Because I've often said, my first thought is not always a bad thought anymore, right? That I've been molded by the principles, spiritual principles that I've learned in recovery. But it does have me wondering now, what first thoughts, though, have I had that I did act on, and they were the wrong ones to act on? See, I think that's the thing about recovery. If you're still there listening, right? I think that's the thing about recovery is that today we're not afraid to look at the hard spaces in our lives. Don't ever be afraid to peer into the difficult areas of your lives, the murky waters in your lives. Don't ever be afraid of that. I was talking to one of my sons, a spiritual son in recovery. I was talking to him yesterday, and we were talking about, all of the guilt and shame that he has about his active days. He has 63 days today clean. And we were talking yesterday about all of the guilt and shame that he has about the things that he did and the harm that he caused over the last, let's just say 30 years of in and out, in and out. How he had good intentions, but it ended up bad, right? And so we were talking about that guilt and shame, and I told him, you know what? That that is all in the past, and it's helpful, yes, to take a glimpse at it, but not to the point where it destroys us today. Because we have things to help us today to deal with all of those things of the past. It's called the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. That's what we use to allow us to sort through that mess, sort through those days that weren't so good, and also to help us to be in a better position to make a more sound decision, knowing the difference between impulsivity, right? And being able to actually breathe and think our way through a situation, to get other people to weigh in on our circumstance and give us their opinion. Don't ever be afraid to take the time to sort a situation out and to involve people that you trust in the rooms. And a lot of times, I would say the majority of people in the rooms are trustworthy. We just don't know them well enough to add them to our trustworthy list, right? The majority of the time, people will be so kind and excited and helpful to help you weigh out your pros and cons. Here's the thing I want you to know today. Not only do you have the opportunity to recover in every area of your life to the highest degree possible, every situation that you ever went through that was horrible, you have the ability to recover from it to a certain degree. But whatever that degree is, it depends on the depth of the pain and hurt that you went through. To whatever degree that is, the recovery, right? Potential is there to the extent of it no longer interfering with your day-to-day living and your ability to show up to grow up and your ability to stay clean no matter what. There is not a single situation that you have passed through that has the same level of control and power over you and your disease of addiction if you commit to working these 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous in your affairs, all of them. Death of a loved one, death of a mate, right? A child, prison time, disease in our physical bodies like cancer, all of the criminal type activities we've endured where we were victims or we were the perpetrators, right? All of those things have an opportunity for you to recover from them to the highest degree possible. Keeping in mind to the depth of the pain that was caused will also determine the height of the recovery that is possible. By using the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous and the spiritual principles therein. What do I mean by the highest degree possible, depending on the depth of the pain? A mother and father who have lost a child prematurely, I'm saying that is probably going to disturb you for the rest of your life. There's going to be some grieving, some pain for the rest of your life. Narcotics Anonymous is not going to make that ache in your heart go away. But to the highest degree possible to recover from that means that you no longer use drugs over it. You no longer avoid waking up in the morning over it. You no longer seek other behaviors that hurt other people over it. That's what I mean by the highest degree of recovery possible given the circumstance. And every situation is different, but I know from my own life, I don't even know. I'm trying to figure how long I have been clean, right? But it's been a long time. I know from my own life, from 1993 up until now, I've not had to use drugs for anything that I've passed through, and I have passed through some hairy situations. And I'm still here, and I'm still committed, and I'm still willing. And I know that you can do it. I know some of you are thinking, there's no getting past this. I'm gonna be in prison. I know I'm gonna have to do time. I know some of you are thinking that. You know how many facilities have people coming into them bringing meetings? So you develop a network of people on the inside that have the same desire as yourself to recover. And that becomes your circle, right? It's very possible. All we need is a little faith and a little effort to go with it. And you'll see that we can have thoughtful awareness and thoughtful action today, not having to pay high prices for a low level of living today. We can make better decisions today. We can breathe and take a moment to think through a situation. We can do that. No matter what the storm is, we have the potential to pass through it in better shape than we could ever have imagined before. Using drugs, start with that and compare that and tell me that we don't have hope today. I have a lot of hope. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to have a beautiful day on purpose. I'll to wake my boys up and get them ready for school. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose too. My day is going to end in about 14 to 15 hours from now. It will be a long, long day. I won't get back here till almost 9 p.m. But you know what? I get to do this today, and I'm looking forward to it. So I hope that you will also be optimistic about whatever is in front of you. You can do it, and you can stay clean while you do it. And return here tomorrow as we commune with each other, as we fellowship with each other. I look forward to it. Talk to you tomorrow.